Oh, good. We can make some changes now. How good. Lockout has been lifted. We get in for some round 7 trade-ins. So my score last week, guys, was an 885. A little update from Harry Grant was the only thing I saw. Let me know if there's any other players that got an update overnight. Well, this morning anyway. Grant went from 52 to 57, so they had that 5 points for him, which I'll definitely take. What do you reckon? There's still a lot of people out there really salty about Grant not getting that try assist. Thankfully, I moved on from it last week. But what do you reckon, guys? Is that a little bit of payback for them missing that try assist on him? I hope that makes you guys feel a little bit better as well. That we can sneak that extra 5, and that does help him out a little bit. He goes almost to a 55 average now, rather than a 53.8, and just that extra 1 point per week across the 5 that he's played so far, and gets him close to where we bought him at, which is lovely. All right, so pretty much for the most part, guys, it was a pretty good week for me, to be honest. We had some issues with Danny Levi and Hutchison, but outside of that, and Hines as captain not sort of getting right up to where we want him to be averaging, but outside of that, it was a really nice week, and obviously happy that the Strange rumour wasn't true, because that would have left me playing with 16 and in not such a great spot. But the trade-in of Crichton was awesome, and then I traded out Murray, so I got lucky on that front, trading him to Nicho Hines. So Crichton 61, Hines 53. Yes, as captain, and we can get a little bit annoyed about just a mini frustration about Fogarty basically doubling his points scoring what he scored last week as captain, doubled into this week just without the double. So yeah, I would have netted an extra 29 points, which in the grand scheme of things would have bumped me up a bunch of ranks. But there was in no world was I captaining Fogarty over Nicho Hines in this game. Like, you're buying Nicho for a reason. And so he was a little bit frustrating. Obviously, the way they're playing at the moment, it looks like that there will be games like this where he's just not in all the attack, unfortunately, basically there. But Grant's 57, happy with that. Terrell May killed it. Jamin Salmon, really happy with him. When he can get good minutes on the park in a correct position, whether it's on the edge for this one or if it's 50 in the middle, it's awesome. So I was very happy that when Katoga came on, Salmon didn't go off, which is great. They just worked through their middles and Hayward came off instead. So Salmon, any of your Dogs players here, I think that you can hold on one more week. Like, Hutcho's an easy one. If you don't have a tremendous amount of issues in your side, then Hutcho's an easy trade out this week for sure. But I'm looking at my side here and got Burbo with an injury. We've got Hutcho, who's potentially a trade out, is a trade out eventually, whether it's this week or next. Blaze Talangi is a trade out as well, it looks like, and Danny Levi. So that's 4 guys, and I've got 3 trades. So decisions on that, as to what we decide to do, we'll work out. And whether it's Levi that gets held this week or Hutcho, we'll make a decision on that as we go along. And then we have the issue with Taylor May at this stage, and we'll see what's happening with him, and if we hear anything more from Penrith, or if we're left a little bit in the dark and just kind of we'll just wait till he gets named or not named tomorrow before we make decisions on potential trades, and if he's a trade for me. Super frustrating one of that with Taylor, and my boy Morgan Smithies comes out with 2 bangers and gets a nice 120 over 2 weeks, which has cost me a bunch of ranks too. If I kept that trade, I would have obviously held one, and probably an extra, 50 odd points as well. So I'd be into the top 10k with that hold, and as I said, that's the mistake I am hanging on at the moment. But I won't be making that mistake again, that's for sure. And you guys got to hold me to it as well. If I'm thinking about doing a marginal upgrade, tell me not to do it, okay? Big upgrades only, injuries only, basically, are the 2 options at this stage. So, there we go. But, the rest of the squad, Cotter, Fogarty, Lussick, all really, really good. Happy as with Lussick 52. Could have even been more. Sam Hughes, really happy with the minutes that he's playing. Obviously, the sin bin, we can cop that. But Kaipi's Paul, awesome. He'll get a try at some stage as well. Ethan Strange killing it. Still happy that Burbo got 29. Karaz, that was a big breakout game for him, just on the work ethic side of it, going over 300 meters. Incredible. Very happy with that. Pappenhausen, 48. Gutho, a bounce back game with 47. And they have a solid matchup, obviously, with the Dolphins, who are a bit decimated as well. So happy to be owning Gutho at this point, at 47. Hopefully he can pick up a try or something himself, and a really good score on the weekend. We will see Galvin return this week. Pretty much must. He must return into this side. for Sullivan, I think, or Sullivan goes to 14. Like Simpkin, I don't even think got on the park on the weekend, so Sullivan to 14 for sure. Galvin back into this side. So if we're looking at my team right now in terms of green dots, let's just go. Actually, the guys that aren't playing will be a bit easier because there's more green than ready. So Piakura, we're not expecting him back this week at all. Still not training with the main squad, so that's frustrating. But Piakura not back. Burbo definitely not playing. I don't have any Rabbitohs anymore after getting rid of Murray. So there's two guys that are definitely out of my squad so far. And then Talangi, number 3. Very likely, obviously. And then Taylor May, a good chance that he doesn't play either. So Piakura, May, Talangi there, and Burbo. And then the two guys that we don't want to be playing in our side. So, yeah, that's 4 right now, 17 on the park. It's going to be Levi and Hutchison. I do, to be honest, I see Hutcho playing a little bit better this week. They come up against Newcastle, and yes, that left-hand side could be a bit tough. But to be honest, guys, he's averaging 32.5 with that 19. So it's very likely he does have a bit of a bounce back week and get like a 30 or a 40. So there's that. Yeah, similar to that with Levi. This was a very low game for him, averaging 29. But Levi's been relying on tries, whereas Hutcho's been doing a bunch of different things, not just scoring tries to get his added benefit. So I could see Levi being more of a sell than Hutcho, but then I'm still sitting there with 4 dogs coming into next week. So if that's the case and I'm sitting there with 4 dogs, I'm going to have to get rid of one of them, and it's likely going to be Hutcho next week. So I'll have that in my mind. At 450k, it's not going to be hard to find too many people that you could you could move him on to, I should say. Won't be too difficult at that to do so. But if I am going to hold on to the 4 of those dogs this week, then I do have to make sure that the dead wood in my squad is out. So Burbo would have to be traded. We need to make sure that either I'm selling Talon this week or he is available the following week in round 8. Talangi will need to go this week or next, right? And then, I probably don't really want like a Levi in my squad or something either from then on. But this obviously does mean I'm probably using closer to 3 trades. There's a bunch of good options coming into this week, which we'll discuss very much further in the next few videos once we've got team lists and the like. But I suppose that's probably the big thing on my side. I've got to get Cal Aro in if he gets named, which is great. He's straight swap for Ben Trebojevic, which is easy, and that sorts out my center position. Wing fullback position is still sweet this week with Karaz, Pap, and Gutho going to be named. We're looking to bring in a mid this week. Guys like Corridell and these kind of guys could be an option. We'll look into the edge position as to if we want to add to that as well. But obviously, someone like Waddell is very helpful in that scenario. But if we do have a 1-week suspension or injury or head knock, then having some cover in the edge is going to be cool. Half position, we do have Hines and Fogarty coming into next week, and Galvin, so we're not too stressed on that part for backups. Look, if we're selling Talon, then having another wing fullback or center over the next few weeks could be good for some cover. But it is a position I've used a lot of trades on, and it hasn't been too fruitful for me. So I think I'd prefer to spend some trades up in the mids and edges and get a little bit more of a guarantee over the next bunch of weeks. And then sort of, through the mid part of the season onwards is when a lot of the wing fullbacks and centers really come into their own, that's for sure. So that's that one there. I'm at 4,570 points, and the leader overall is at 5,063. So still a little bit under 500 points away from first. So I'm at 4,570. If I go down to 50th, it's 4,937. So less than 400 behind 50th place, which isn't crazy at all, to be honest with you there. And we're looking at a squad value that is sort of 300 to 400k less than the majority of these guys in the top 10, and a couple 100k below guys near the top 50 mark. So overall, it's not the worst situation. It's definitely not nowhere near as good a situation I ended up being in after 6 rounds last year. I was a bit closer into the top 8, sort of 8 to 9,000. And that next few weeks I really built and dominated hard, which was great. So yeah, not the best situation that I've been in, but it's definitely not a situation we can't get out of. And with a few good trades and then being able to hold over certain few weeks once we've kind of rounded out the squad, and potentially there's sort of 17 guys that we're very comfortable playing on a weekly basis, and then maybe 1 or 2 that are likely to get a 30. over certain weeks, then we're going to be in a solid position. But obviously round 8, all the Dogs are on the bye. Round 9 is the Eels. Round 10 is the Raiders, and I've got a bunch of those players. So it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to navigate the next 3 rounds. But I do think from sort of around 11, 12, that can be a great opportunity to hold some trades. Probably trade hard in round 13 and go from there. It's shout out to Scoop, who I think he was 1 ahead of me, and then he has Harry Grant as captain, so he ended up with the double points there to get a clear win with 891, which was nice. But in terms of the JBFA fam, my brother, who's been doing really well, had an 872, a little bit of a lower one for him, but Isha absolutely crushed it at 932. So well done to her. Obviously having Paddy as captain, SJ the GOAT in that squad, and thanks to you guys for the happy birthday messages for her. Really, really cool. All right, private group. We've got Ash still in the lead there. He, sitting there in a good spot again with a 907. Obviously had Murray to deal with, had Finafuyaki, but a captaincy of Fogs was awesome. Had Campbell as well in his issues. But shout out to Liam in 161 as well. And then Mitch D at 342. So a really good setup from there. Brody into 366. So we've got a bunch of the guys in a really nice position. 10th in our league is still 671. So we've got sort of 15 to 20 players there that are in the in the top 1,000, which is awesome. And sitting in a good position. The private group crew. Let's move to the NRL Fantasy Analysis community. And shout out to Dean Chinlock, who is actually in 2nd overall with 1,031 and had Totola in his team as well. Wow. He had some really nice scoring there. Ponga, Brown, Fogarty, Cotter, Lussick, Crichton, Salmon there on the bench. Smithies, Strange, Iro, Carrigan captain, Smith, Terrell. Yeah, wow. So without Totola in that team, it would have been 1,050 or something. Incredible effort. And then Riley, 11th overall, into Matty G, 32nd overall. Congrats to you guys. If you are watching this, I'll shout out in the comments and have a look there. All right. Oh, what about this? I'm getting absolutely pummeled in the JBFA seeded one. I'm 20th. I'm dead last in the ladder. That is tough going. Obviously, some really, really good coaches in this one, and I can't take a trick. I won the first matchup, and then I've gone 5 losses on the trot. Scoop and I 19th and 20. How good's life? We're going to be bouncing back this week. Oh, we're going to be bouncing back. There you go. Let's see if this can happen after 6 rounds. What are the chances of me sneaking from 20th into the top 8? That's going to be the question now. And hilarious that in the head-to-head, my 21 league there, I'm 3rd. So 20th, 3rd, 13th in the Blake Taft Shield after losing to AFG Cossie, who he goes really well when top 100 or so last year as well. All right, podcasts. So no one in the clear crazy position with Austin at 1,928, Adrian there 4,200. Into just under 6,000 for Stu. And so no one's really crushing it at all. Few good players, obviously, Chris, Rogue Waldo there, and Steadies with Eddie. Killed it last year. Like Eddie came like 20 something. And Chris, I think I just beat in the end. I think it was like 110 or something like that. So guys that go really, really well are in sort of tough positions. And it depends if you're holding Cleary and the like as well. Then you seem to end up in a pretty sort of tough position over the last bunch of weeks, not being able to use that cash. And you see Scoop down there. Obviously a better score this week and improved in rankings. Grant as captain was solid, but he's 28,000. You've got Mark there at 8. You've got an 824 with no Terrell May. That's the sad one here. He obviously hasn't been listening to the podcast, or he doesn't believe in me. That's my call. Terrell, the GOAT. But he's 20,000. So guys that were in hectic positions last year are struggling at this part of the year, and it's going to be really, really fun to see all of us start playing better and making good decisions and, more good decisions and ending up in a really good spot heading into the bye period as well, because that's where a lot of us are going to, our bread's buttered is through that bye period. And I hope it is for you guys this year if you're following along with the content. Obviously tomorrow morning's video, the impact of the next 3 rounds is super important as well. And it's going to help you guys get into a really, really solid spot through, obviously prepping for that period, but then through that section there. So that's all the leagues I believe that we need to go through, and my general thoughts about my squad. Now let's move to the head-to-head team, which made a big boo-boo, as I said. But we'll show that now. Now, guys, all you can do is sit back and laugh because I forgot to make the Blaze Talangi to KL Iro trade. So I cost myself some points there, 40 of them for KL, and 50k in rises. And I therefore heard the news that sort of Cleary is in a bit of strife, and definitely not going to be back this week, current round 6, and then round 7 definitely not, and then they're going to reevaluate. So I was like, oh, do I just trade Cleary? And I was like, okay, cool. I've got options. I got Joe Tarpany. Was really interested in him, but I have a lot of mids already sitting there with sort of Salmon, Cotter, covering that position. I've got a lot of positions there, and I was like, okay, I could do that. I could go Morgan Smithies. Both seem really, really good buys this week, and I was like, no, let's go for more the moneymaker and in Jaden Campbell. So I traded Cleary to Jaden Campbell, more for the fact that I have 0 wing fullback cover. So I got Pap, Turbo, and Drinky, 0 wing fullbacks on the bench. I was like, okay, well, I've got cover in the mids and edges. I don't need another mid or edge right now. Let's go for the head-to-head play and get the moneymaker, who then did really well. Like, he got 33. He was in a really good spot. He would have picked up about a 50, made plenty of cash, and ended up in a good spot, and then he got injured. So apparently he was carrying it into the game, even better. So yes, I have a lot of money in the bank. I got 906 this week, which was which is a good score, and moved me down into sort of 13,777. And you're looking at the scores I got there, like Brandon Smith in there, brought in Crichton, was meant to bring in Iro, which I didn't, but I'll fix that this week. Kai Pierce-Paul, Tohu Harris as captain was hectic at 69. Nice. And then Turbo, Drinky, all solid, like in the 40s. Sully with a 31, not the worst in the world. He's losing a bit of cash now, but it's not crazy. I just didn't. I feel like with the side I've got, like I'm holding Piakura, I'm holding Chan, I'm holding Talangi. There's a lot of issues on that, and I was holding Cleary as well. I was like, stuff it, I'm just gonna make the trade. But obviously would have liked to go Joe Tarpany, as he was on like 30 odd in 20 minutes. So that was fun, and Campbell was on like 8 in 30 odd. It's funny how that works. But so we've got some trades to make this week. 3 of them. We're gonna be holding over the bye period fairly comfortably, right? But we need some wins and we need some points right now, especially in that JBFA seeded league, that's for sure. But as I said, guys, we're going to be holding heavy over the bye period. So let's get this team sorted now. Trying to make a lot of cash there. So we're at 10.89 is the team value, 572 in the bank. Is that actually correct? Rankings. Yeah, so squad value for me is 11.462. So I'm making good money in the team, even though my rank isn't crash hot. But we've got some good decisions to make, and 572k in the bank lets me do some really cool things. So if I was to go Burbo to Iro right there, so let's just start making some trades now, shall we? So we got KL, and we'll get him in. We got to fix this squad up. All right, so let's make that trade there. Burbo, we're in. All right, how much cash in the bank now? 616. Let's go. So now we have a Blaze Talangi, and we have a Chan Man. So look, there's some thoughts at the moment around the great Corey Waddell as a nice trade-in, obviously there as well. I got Crichton, which is cool. You got Sean Blaw as a potential in that mid-range as well. And we've got some of these guns that would be really, really cool to have in the side. So sitting there at the moment, someone like Dylan Brown is very, very interesting, as sort of a 680 odd K for that half position, considering I'm playing Hutcho right now as well. And I think for now, it could be worth holding Drew. I don't think he's going to lose a tremendous amount of cash. But that half position is going to be fairly important to us. And I think, Sully's someone that we can hold for a little bit. He has a bye coming up, so maybe we can get rid of him later. They come up against the Wars this week, which would be an interesting battle. But I could go Blaze Talangi up to a Waddell fairly easily on that one. And that's 100k. So that leaves me 515. So let's say Mr. Chan Man. Well, we'll find out if Campbell's cooked, then we can probably go to like an Isaiah Yo. To be honest, that could be pretty fun. We could obviously get Hines as well. It's an easy one to go up to. If we went Campbell, we could just go straight to Hines. Isaiah, we know, is going to be super consistent and get the job done. Kalen Ponga in the wing fullback. If Campbell's gone, like Campbell straight to Ponga, could be an easy play there for sure. So there's a lot of guys that we could improve this team with and get ourselves in a really, really good point scoring position this week. I think by making those 2 trades, we'd have a lot of yeah, a lot of good spots to go. And that's 3 trades this week still. And then still having another 1 or 2 issues. Got Galvin back, like puts us in a really good position heading into next week. Yes, like trading out Cleary. If he's back next week, then it's probably a little bit annoying considering I held for 2 weeks. Sold him for this week and got the extra 33. And that's the thing with that trade. It cooked me. I would have had only 16 playing without making that second trade. So that's why I went for it in the end as well, to get another player, thinking Cleary at least going to be out for another 2 weeks. And now it's getting closer and closer to Origin. I think we'll just hold out on him as well and get some good scores from other positions there for sure. I haven't heard anything on Campbell yet. I think we'll find out maybe later tonight or tomorrow morning on the severity of Burbo's hamstring, but likely he's going to be out for a little bit of time anyway. And yeah, I think just a worthy trade out in our squads, that's for sure. Got to look at next week, obviously, with my dogs, but I only have 3. No bunnies in this side. On the eel side of things, well, we'll get Talangi out anyway, but no Lussick, no Gutho. So like someone like Brown could work really well. Not a problem at all. So yeah, there's a few things we can do in this squad. Let me know what you'd like to do in yours, obviously coming into this week. If you've got any blow-ups you want to make about the week that was, about me, that's fine. Pop them in the comments. I'll see them. I'll have a laugh and we'll get into round 7 and have a cracking time. So cheers for being here, guys. Thanks for you guys for watching all of these videos. If you're a regular every video guy or gal, you're a really important person in my life, and I thank you very much. So cheers for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.